What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Fan 88 channel. I'm back once again with another review, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of my personal favorite films of all time, 1988's Night of the Demons. So, why is this one of my favorite movies of all time? Well, I'm glad you asked. So pretty much, this is one of my earliest horror movie memories that I had. After almost 2 decades of seeing this film, it has stuck with me over time, always stayed in my favorites, and I just have an absolute blast with it. I think, yes, it's one of those cheesy, fun 80s horror films, but I could just watch this film every day and never get tired of it. And, yeah, Night of the Demons. So this film was directed by Kevin Tinney, who 1 year previous to this directed the film Witchboard, which is another film that I highly recommend. And, what can I say about this film? I won't be going through like the entire thing and a lot of spoilers just in case you haven't seen it. But pretty much the basic story of this film is that a group of high schoolers decide to skip the Halloween school dance and go party at the abandoned funeral parlor known as Hull House. The party is being hosted by Angela, played by Amelia Kincaid, who is the local goth girl who people think practices witchcraft and voodoo and all that, and her friend Suzanne, played by Scream Queen legend Linnea Quigley. And, this film is set on Halloween, and I think overall they did a great job capturing a great Halloween feel to this film. It looks very fall and Halloween-like, and I really like that. And, a lot of the characters in this film, I actually think this movie has a ton of fun characters, much on the lines of something like Return of the Living Dead. All these characters, you have kind of asshole characters like the character Jay, or the character Stooge, played by Hal Havens, I think is just one of the craziest characters. I mean, he's a party animal, but at the same time, he too is kind of an asshole with the way he talks to people. But in my opinion, he gave us the best line of the film with "Eat a bowl of fuck. I am here to party." It's just awesome. But anyway, once these characters get to Hull House, I just think that the setting of the film, Hull House itself, is amazing. It looks creepy as hell. It looks abandoned. There's cobwebs everywhere. And, off the bat, the lighting of the film is great. Like, everything in Hull House is pretty much lit with candles and the fireplace, and it looks dark, and it just looks evil. And, one thing that they establish in this film is that Hull House contains an underground stream at the gate, meaning that the demons on the property cannot leave. And once they go in, they're pretty much screwed. They get in, they start to party, and then the boombox dies. So what do? They decide to have a past life seance. In this, they find a mirror, they all sit around, they look in the mirror and try to stare and see their past life. All the characters pretty much get distracted and look away. Meanwhile, one of the characters, Helen, looks in the mirror and sees pretty much a vision of herself with her face completely mangled and smashing against the mirror like a premonition of her death. And that pretty much sets in the events, because then they start hearing banging, the camera pans down to the crematorium in the basement, and a demon is set free. And after that, it's just people getting possessed and creepy things ensuing, and it's just awesome. And one of the things that this film has is one of my favorite horror film openings. The title sequence of this film, I think, is so much fun. It's animated, the score is excellent, everything just looks cool and great, with a good atmosphere to it. And, all the special effects and practical effects were done by Steve Johnson, and I think he did a fantastic job. The effects of the demons look gnarly in this movie. They just look awesome, and I think overall effects were great. The soundtrack of the movie has a great rock and metal type soundtrack to it. There's a great dance scene in this film with Angela, where at this point she is possessed, and she's being like very seductive to the character Sal, and it's almost as if he's like getting hypnotized by her. Anyway, she starts dancing to the song Stigmata Martyr, and like it's in front of the fireplace, and then the strobe light kicks on, and it's just like it's mesmerizing. It really is. And like I said, I'm not going to go into everything just in case you haven't seen it, but if you saw my video last year of some of my like Halloween recommendations, you know, horror films to watch during the month of October, this was in there, and I highly recommend it. Still, if you haven't seen it, 100% check it out for a fun, good time. Absolutely recommend it. Night of the Demons. And like I said, don't want to spoil everything, but expect more reviews coming for, of course, Night of the Demons 2, Night of the Demons 3, and yes, maybe I'll even throw in a review for the Night of the Demons remake. But this video here was just focusing mainly on the original film, which in my opinion is still the best in the franchise. So, Night of the Demons, 1988. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a fun time. You know, I put it up there with films like Return of the Living Dead, like I said, when it comes to fun 80s horror films. And, you know, yeah, pretty soon, maybe in the future, I'll do like my personal top 10 horror films of all time and show you what else is on there. But with that being said, that is just a quick little review for Night of the Demons and a recommendation, if you will. But with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one, and peace out.